Starting from March 5th, 2023, the MetaQuest 2 256GB version is gonna be priced at $429 instead of $499, and the MetaQuest Pro is gonna be $999 instead of $1499. Hundreds of dollars, not dollars. Also, the refurbished version of the MetaQuest 2 is gonna be $399, but unfortunately we're not getting any price cut for the MetaQuest 2 128GB version, so the entry-level model. And I think that's kind of odd. But overall, these price drops are gonna be permanent. That means that it's not just an offer for a period like we had just a month ago with the MetaQuest Pro going to $11.99. From now on, these are gonna be the prices. We have to say though that Meta really likes to fluctuate the prices of their products. At the end of the day, the Quest 2 started at $299, then became $399, then $349. So, well, it was kind of a mess. It will be very nice to see that headset going back to the original price, but well, this is not happening this time. But overall, with all these price cuts, it's actually the moment to consider buying these headsets. Well, this is what I think. The MetaQuest Pro at $999 actually starts to make a lot of sense. This is a great headset, besides for the fit and the weight that is a bit too heavy for my liking. But for this price, we'll have some features that are completely unbeatable on the market. We're talking about the best lenses on the market, eye tracking and face tracking. These are features that are unique to this headset unless you go to expensive add-ons for existing ones. Also, as we saw from my True Lenses videos, well, this in PC VR is one of the best clarity that you can have out there right now. As I said in my review, this was a great headset, but always a bit overpriced, and I think that at this point actually starts to make sense. This is a prosumer headset, so if you want the best of the best on everything that what we have right now, well, this is the one to get. But it's not that easy because we're actually getting close to the release of the MetaQuest 3. Right now we have just run rumors. I actually have a mock-up of it over there. Here we go, and this thing is set to be lighter, smaller, and twice as powerful as the MetaQuest Pro. That's because the MetaQuest Pro at the end of the day is an enhanced MetaQuest 2. It has the same processor, pretty much a bit overclocked, but not much of a difference when you're in game. And what you pay for the MetaQuest Pro are actually the features that are in there. Instead, the MetaQuest 3 is gonna be better for games. We're gonna have for sure the new pancake lenses, the same of the MetaQuest Pro. And why we're gonna miss the eye tracking and the face tracking? Well, if you're not very interested in this for social features, you know that we're gonna have the new Snapdragon XR3 or XR2 Gen 2. That seems to be double as fast, and that means that we're gonna be able to have much bigger games. Also, if they keep it, the Quest 3 is gonna have a depth sensor, and that is gonna use for mixed reality, and that will be something that will push completely away the MetaQuest Pro and the MetaQuest 2 when it comes to this kind of applications and games. And anyway, the Quest 3 seems very, very tiny, so it might be very, very comfortable to wear as well, as you can see. So while I think this price cut is very, very positive, at the end of the day, it seems that the Quest Pro didn't get very good reviews because of the price. I think that for once it will be worth waiting for the MetaQuest 3 to have a better experience overall. But if you're looking for a good headset with many features right now and you want a top of the line, $999 now actually makes sense. And yeah, I can say that it's worth it for what you get in the package. I'm reusing it and rediscovered it lately and modded a little to make it more comfortable. And I have to say that, yeah, this might be worth every penny of it. But anyway, this also comes out of a report that Meta sold 20 million Quests so far, and it's actually a very good number. It was kind of confirmed by Qualcomm but then denied at the end of the day, probably because they didn't want to ruin the relationship, because the Quest 2 sold around 10 million units, and I think that is a very good number. The problem though, what they're saying from Meta is the retention. So many people actually buy this thing because they are super interested in VR, to jump in VR for the first time, but then they don't really find a use for it. You know, maybe they play some Beat Saber, they like the novelty, and that's about it. But anyway, I think they actually cut in the price to boost the sales a bit, also for the prosumer model. At the end of the day, if more people buy it, more people will actually develop for it, and for the features like the face tracking and the eye tracking that unfortunately are not very used right now in applications and social applications, because you know, the player base is not big enough to justify the cost of developing the features in there. There's a good news on this front though that dropped in the same day of the price cut news, and that's the fact that VRChat is adding official support for the eye tracking in their app. Of course, for the Meta Quest Pro, and you're gonna be able to have a better interaction with people with the eyes moving in the right way, as they should also on your avatars. It was about time. Then talking about the Quest 2 price drop, I think that it's very good to have a price drop anytime, of course, but I really wish the price drop arrived also to the 128GB model, because I think that is the one that more people get. But with all these new prices, it's actually worth it to jump in the Quest platform right now? Well, this comes with a big question mark, because also depends what is gonna happen to the Quest 2 after the Quest 3 is gonna arrive. Because we don't have the best track record when it comes to support, long-term support. The Quest 1 was dropped pretty fast. Most of the games right now that release for the Quest 2 don't have any Quest 1 support, and that's kind of sad, and I'm very scared to see the same situation happening again with the Quest 3. At the end of the day, if it's twice as powerful, why bothering porting it also on something that is half as powerful? It might be very complicated or sometimes completely impossible. Also, there were many new games announcements, and I feel like Meta is actually holding all these games very close to their chest to have a big announcement when the Meta Quest 3 arrives with a big lineup, because that's very, very important to actually push people to upgrade or to get a new product. So yeah, a very big question mark there. Do you actually trust Meta in keeping a long-term support for the Meta Quest 2 after the Meta Quest 3 arrives? Let me know. But overall, this was the situation. I actually wanted to make this video to make you aware of the price drop that is gonna be definitive this time, and that's very, very good. And I wanted also to ask you if you're an early adopter of the Meta Quest Pro. Do you actually regret buying it for the full price, or you're okay for that for a 5 months of early access, let's say, to all these features? Would you consider buying one of these headsets now, or would you wait for the Meta Quest 3 at this point? Let me know in the comment below, and as always, if you liked the video, like. If you didn't like the video, dislike. Subscribe to the channel for all VR tech. If you really love the channel, join button on there. Later on further, also the Patreon. Thanks to all the patrons for joining the channel, of course, and I see you guys next video. It's gonna be soon, very soon.